Here is the uncomfortable truth. Your RAG can have great-sounding metrics and still fail at the only thing users care about, which is finding the right document.
That is why hit rate matters. It asks one blunt question. Did Retrieval bring back at least one relevant result, or not?
So not perfect ranking, not nuanced grading, just a yes or no on whether the retriever found something useful.
Exactly. For each query, hit rate is 1 if any relevant chunk appears in the return set, and 0 if none do. Then you average that over many queries.
That sounds almost too simple. Why should a programmer building RAG care about a binary metric when there are more detailed ones?
Because a lot of RAG failures are not subtle. The system either retrieved the needed evidence or it did not. Hit rate gives you that signal fast.
Give me a concrete case.
Say you are building support search for refund policy questions. A user asks about refunds on annual plans. If your top results include the policy chunk that answers it, that query is a hit. If Retrieval misses the policy entirely, the generator is already in trouble.
So, hit rate is basically measuring retrieval survival. Did the right evidence make it into the room before generation starts?
Yes, and that is why teams like it early. It is easy to explain, easy to trend, and hard to misread.
But people hear hit rate and think, wait, is that not just recall at K with a friendlier name?
Close, but not the same in practice. Recall at K measures how many of all relevant items you recovered in the top K. Hit rate only cares whether you recovered at least one.
So if there are 10 relevant chunks and I retrieve one, hit rate says success, while recall at K says maybe 10%.
Right. Hit rate answers, can the system find an entry point? Recall at K answers, how much of the relevant evidence did it gather?
That difference feels strategic. One metric tells me whether I can answer at all. The other tells me whether I can answer completely.
Exactly. If your generator can do a good job from one strong chunk, hit rate may be enough to spot major retrieval issues. If answers depend on multiple scattered facts, recall at K becomes more important.
Let us make that real.
Imagine an internal doc spot for engineering on call. A query asks, how do I rotate the API key and restart the worker safely? One retrieved chunk might mention key rotation, but another separate chunk explains the restart order. Hit rate can look fine because one useful chunk appeared. Recall at K exposes that retrieval missed the rest.
So a team could celebrate a healthy hit rate while users still get half answers that break production.
Yes, that is the risk. Hit rate is simple, not magical. It is best as a first retrieval signal, not your entire evaluation strategy.
Then, why keep it around at all?
Because simple signals are operationally powerful. When you change chunking, embeddings, query rewriting, or filters, hit rate quickly tells you whether retrieval is more often finding.
So if I swap embedding models and hit rate jumps from 68 to 82%, I immediately know more queries are getting at least one good result.
Exactly. You have improved first contact with the truth. That does not guarantee perfect answers, but it usually moves you in the right direction.
And if hit rate drops, that is not cosmetic. It means more user questions arrive at generation with no solid evidence.
Which is where hallucinations, evasive answers, and trust erosion start. In production, missing retrieval is often the power shift. Once the model lacks evidence, you are asking style to replace substance.
What is one practical way to use hit rate without drowning in metrics?
Take a labeled set of real user queries. For each one, define at least one chunk or document that counts as relevant. Run retrieval at your chosen K, compute whether each query got a hit, and track that number over builds. Then, inspect the misses. The misses teach you where your retriever is blind.
So, the workflow is not fancy. Measure hit rate, compare versions, and read the failures.
Exactly. Start with the simplest question. Did we find anything useful? If that answer is no too often, nothing later in the stack can save you.
That is the line then. Before you optimize eloquence, optimize contact with evidence.
Yes, in RAG, hit rate is the fastest way to learn whether retrieval is opening the door or leaving your model to guess in the dark.